Hi, I'm Rachel Zegler, and I'm going to take you through my camera roll. This is a photo from the Eras tour, Taylor Swift, at Wembley Stadium in London. I was on reshoots for Snow White in June of this year, and I had the opportunity to see her. And this is my lovely personal assistant, Millie, who I love so much, who assisted me and my romantic lead, Andrew Burnap, on that movie, and we just absolutely fell in love with her. This summer was the first time I was able to actually hang out with Millie outside of work, and we did it in quite a way. This dress is from Annie's Ibiza, which is an awesome shop in London if you're ever there. The girls there make it feel like you're on an episode of Say Yes to the Dress, and they're all like giving the sweetest opinions on your dress. I'm also a really big fan of this woman behind us. She was dressed to impress. For this in particular, I was dressed as the Speak Now era because that's my favorite Taylor Swift album from when I was a kid. I was really obsessed with Speak Now. It was also a very Snow White dress. Lots of flowers and trees and butterflies. Very sweet. Ugh. This is the greatest birthday gift I've ever received. My best friend, DJ Catrona, who I met doing a movie called Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. Maybe you saw it. You probably didn't. Nobody did. And so I made that movie with him and became very good friends with him. And for my birthday, because he knew I was such a massive Oscar Isaac fan, he took me to see The Sign in Sidney Brustein's Window on Broadway, which was a play that my dear friend Rita Moreno actually originated many years ago, but they revived with Rachel Brosnahan and Oscar Isaac. I just love him so much. He's the star of my favorite movie of all time, Inside Llewyn Davis. He's also a very powerful Latino in Hollywood who has not had his career be defined by the fact that he's Latino. And he was one of the first that I really, really clung to as an inspiration. And he's just so super sweet to boot. This man has everything. He came up to me and said, "Feliz cumpleaños, Raquel," and it was the most beautiful birthday wish I'd ever received. I mean, your hero wishes you happy birthday in Spanish. It's the most amazing moment ever. It's a very sweet photo. This is from my most recent trip to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. I went for my 23rd birthday this year. I obviously have a deep connection to Snow White, and getting to meet her after having played her in the movie was a really emotional and cathartic experience for me. I have so much respect for the character actors and the character integrity in Disney because I feel like I would be kind of terrified if the person who was playing the character I was portraying in a theme park showed up. She didn't miss a beat. She was awesome, and it was like the character plucked out of the cartoon, and it was a really awesome moment for my inner child. I don't think I can pick a favorite of my 7 friends. I don't think that's fair. It's kind of like picking like my favorite Taylor Swift album, which I did do not 2 minutes ago. In the movie, the cartoon as well, she has a very special connection to Dopey, and so do I. Wrapping that job was such an emotional experience because I had been with that crew for about 3 years, essentially, 3 summers of my life. So wrapping and saying goodbye to that crew was like saying goodbye to your family. But having seen the film cut together now, it's like you can just see that love pouring off of the screen. And so many people deeply, deeply cared about that production. My Mikey boy. This is me and my very good friend, Mike Faist, who I met when I was doing a movie called West Side Story with Steven Spielberg. And it was my first movie, and Mike was just the greatest ever. I think he's the greatest to ever do it, one of the greatest working actors right now. And he's also just the sweetest, most uncomplicated person in the world, the best friend a girl could have. I had just seen him in his West End debut in a production of Brokeback Mountain with Lucas Hedges, and I had seen him perform his little heart out and be brilliant. He actually has, you can't really see it because the photo is in black and white, but he actually has a black eye in this photo because Lucas Hedges' understudy, I think also named Luke, punched him in the face for real during one of the scenes. I went and met him backstage and he was taking off his makeup. I said, "Mike, you missed a spot." And he said, "No, actually, this one's real." Yes. This is at Michael Kors' studio. This was on my 23rd birthday and my fitting for the 2024 Met Gala. He designed this beautiful dress for me, and it was the people at Michael Kors who brought in happy birthday crowns for me, and everybody wore them while I was doing my fitting. It was a really interesting way to spend your birthday, is like getting fit for that. You feel like a princess. It's the craziest feeling, but I had one that matched my dress and it was very, very fun. The theme this year was like Sleeping Beauties, reawakening the elements of fashion. And so we really wanted it to be this waterfall that was pouring down my body. And so it really, really came to fruition in a way we were very, very happy with. Oh my gosh, I sat next to Meg Ryan at the Met Gala, and that was so cool. She is the coolest person and so kind. Michael and I were trying to convince her to do a show on Broadway, and I really think we can convince her if we all rally together. This is a photo from an impromptu performance at a venue called City Winery here in New York City. This is a musician named Glenn Hansard, a man I love so much, who's been a mentor to me, but also somebody that I deeply, deeply admire in the folk music world. You may or may not know him from the movie Once. He was having a concert here, and my friend Thomas, who is also a partner in music for me and a good friend, was playing piano, and I got called up on stage to sing a song called Her Mercy, which is from one of Glenn's albums. It was so much fun, but as you can see, I was not prepared to be performing on a stage in front of people. My hair is a mess. I'm not wearing anything fun. Performing live is my favorite thing to do. I hadn't done it in a really long time, and it was nice to stretch that muscle again. Live performance is the world I come from, so anytime I have the opportunity, it's not necessarily that I'm dying to get on stage and sing in front of a bunch of strangers, but it's a muscle that I've worked out for most of my life, and it's not difficult to flex it when I can and when I have the opportunity. This is the world I come from. I used to be a wedding singer, so I kind of find it to be like going back to those roots. Another big dress. This is Carolina Herrera, actually. And this is my sweet little puppy. This is Leonard, named after Leonard Bernstein, but also has many nicknames like Lenny Kravitz and Leonard Nimoy and Leonard Cohen. If someone's asked if that's the Leonard he's named after, I've just said sure. He's a golden doodle. He's a miniature. And in this photo, he's, I think, 7 months old. This was November of 2023 when we were embarking on the Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes press tour. So I had a photo shoot for a magazine, and I had to bring my dog with me because it was very last minute and I couldn't get a sitter. It's the sweetest photo. He's just looking up at me and he's my best friend. I don't know what I would do without my dog. He's so cute. This photo's so cute. Ah! Another sweet boy face. This is my dear friend Dylan O'Brien. I feel like this photo broke the internet for a bit because nobody really knew that we were toy. Dylan was one of my first friends in Hollywood. I got famous when I was 17. It was a really scary thing to happen, to all of a sudden have so many eyes on me. And he was one of the first people to reach out and say, I've got you if you need somebody to have you. And he has ever since. He's a dear friend, fellow New Yorker, fellow dog parent, little Tony. And the first time I actually met him in person was the day of my screen test for Snow White, which was back in 2021, believe it or not, which feels like 8 million years ago. But it was my first time being alone in Los Angeles. And so he took me on a drive, took me to a taco spot, let me hold his dog Tony, who he had just gotten. He was just a little baby then. I think this was the era of my life where I was living in like a basement apartment in Bed-Stuy. I haven't seen him in years. I feel like this might have been the last time I saw him. But I do talk to him quite regularly and I love him dearly.